guys? Welcome back to a postseason edition, Wildcard football edition of the Football Corner podcast. I'm your host, Jeremiah Queen, and this is your first time viewing me on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date when new videos hit the channel. Also, if you listen to me on a podcast app like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even Spotify, go subscribe to the podcast. And let's talk about what happened in Wildcard weekend of the NFL postseason. First off, let's talk about the Cowboys. And I understand that you're probably not going to watch this episode because the Cowboys are getting talked about so much. But I can't help that the Cowboy has a big brand, and the Cowboys are considered America's team. And when you're America's team, you are supposed to represent what football excellence should look like. And in the last 20 plus years, they have not shown it. Since 1995, the Cowboys have not been to an NFC championship game. You know who has been to a championship game since 95? Let me see. Packers, Niners. Wait. Seahawks have been there. Seahawks actually won the Super Bowl in that time span. Even the AFC, Jaguars been to a championship game. So have the Titans. There's so many teams that have been to the championship game, and the Cowboys can't seem allergic to the championship game. Now that I just ranted on about what the Cowboys can't do and how bad luck of a franchise they are, let's be real here. The Cowboys only get so much scrutiny is because of they are the most valuable franchise monetarily in America. They are the most lucrative franchise in America, more lucrative than the Yankees, Mets, Knicks, Jets, you name it. You name a sports team in the four major sports in America, the Cowboys franchise, the Cowboys team is more valuable than the other franchise. And because they're such a valuable franchise and they're such a popular franchise, they get so much attention and they get so much hate for when they do not live up to expectations. Now, let's talk about Mike McCarthy. All this slander about Mike McCarthy should be fired for what? If anything, Dan Quinn should be fired. Do you not see what defensive performance that team put up? I understand it all goes back to the head coach, but last I checked, Mike McCarthy was an offensive genius, not a defensive genius. And you can say, well, the offense wasn't looking good either. That may be true, but the offense never had a chance because the defense, in the Packers' first 7 possessions, the defense gave up 6 touchdowns. Yes. In the first 7 possessions, they scored 6 touchdowns, the Packers did. And we're going to talk about what the Packers did great because I love me some Jordan Love. And I've been talking about Jordan Love since the offseason. But for you to already call a coach for his job. So Mike McCarthy been here since, 2020? That means he's been here for 4 seasons, 3 straight seasons of 12-plus wins. COVID year was not the best year for the Cowboys because Dak Prescott will get injured. If you look at what this franchise has done under Mike McCarthy, they have been very successful regular season team. And the reason why people hate on him because he don't have regular season success. If you actually look at other teams around the league in that time span, Baltimore Ravens, they have never been to the Super Bowl since 2020. The Niners have not been to the Super Bowl since 2020. The Buffalo Bills have not been to the Super Bowl since 2020. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not been to the Super Bowl since 2020. So all these other teams are allowed to have excuses for not going to the Super Bowl, but Mike McCarthy deserves to lose his job because of it. Now, Mike McCarthy might not be the best head coach in the world, but for Cowboys fans and Cowboys people who are following the Cowboys and other media outlets to say that the Cowboys just need to fire their head coach and get rid of Dak Prescott because they haven't been to the Super Bowl, that means Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired. That means John Harbaugh needs to be fired. That means Sean McDermott needs to be fired. Mike Tomlin needs to be fired. And you're gonna say, well, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Okay. Mike McCarthy had 3 straight 12-win seasons. Well, the Buffalo Bills went to the AFC Championship game in 2020. Okay. I didn't know we got awards for going to a championship game. I thought we gave awards, and which the award would be the Lombardi Trophy to Super Bowl champions. And last I checked, there's multiple franchises who have not won Super Bowls in that time span. But yet, we don't give them the same scrutiny. We don't pick on that team. We don't make sure that those teams should fire their head coaches. You know why? It's because the Cowboys are America's team. The Cowboys are a big brand, and because they're a big brand, you think that because success does not come like they want them to, that they should be fired. And the last argument everybody's going to make, well, they haven't been to a championship game since '95. Well, what? Okay. Any game that's not the Super Bowl should be a failed season, and anything that's not a Super Bowl championship should be a failed season. So to say that, oh, because they have been to a championship game since '95, they deserve better. They need a new head coach. No, Mike McCarthy has been doing a good job. Sometimes things happen, and for a lot of other franchises, because there's only one Super Bowl champion every season, a lot of franchises have the same thing of saying something happened. Enough said. Okay, enough of the Cowboys. I try to defend them. I still give them some slack for not being as successful as they could have been. But let's talk about the teams that actually succeeded in a wild card weekend. First, let's talk about the Texans. And the Texans, what they have done is something special. First, the rookie head coach of DeMeco Ryans, a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud, both win the AFC South. That would have been a successful season. You have the Cleveland Browns who are riding hot with Joe Flacco, and they come into your building and you handle business like it was nothing. You put up 40-plus points. You only let the opponents score 14 points. You have back-to-back pick sixes against a quarterback who is one of the best quarterbacks on Wild Card weekend in Joe Flacco. Now, for the Browns, before I continue with the Texans, this is an example why you pay all that money for Deshaun Watson. This is why. Because even though Joe Flacco was a nice story, and that's all it was a story, Joe Flacco was not meant to carry a franchise and carry this team. Joe Flacco was meant to motivate, elevate just a tiny bit because their defense was playing so well. But when the defense could not stop C.J. Stroud and the Texans, you see what happened. You had to put the ball back in Joe Flacco's hands. And at this point in his career, he is not going to be able to lead this team or carry a team to the promised land. Now back to C.J. Stroud and the three-touchdown game he had and a 157 passer rating. C.J. Stroud was unbelievable. I think it's hard to judge his rookie season among other rookie seasons because there's only a handful of quarterbacks who play at this high of a level in their rookie season. Like, for the top of my head, I can think Big Ben, Andrew Luck, RG3, Russell Wilson. That's just a handful of quarterbacks that actually been this successful in their rookie seasons, and not all of them actually won a game in a playoff game. Russell Wilson did it. Big Ben did it. It's very hard to actually win a playoff game in your rookie season, and the way C.J. Stroud is slinging the football, it's amazing to see. And DeMeco Ryans got this defense playing way better. In the first couple games of the season, they were 0-2, and now they're 10-7. They won their wild card playoff game at home against the Browns. I don't know what's going to happen in the division round for the Texans, but I like the future for this franchise, the Texans, because they got C.J. Stroud, a franchise quarterback, which every team needs, and you have the right head coach in DeMeco Ryans, who should be coach of the year. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back, guys. I've been talking about Jordan Love for the longest. I literally been talking about how Jordan Love is going to play within the system. He was going to play in what Matt LaFleur wanted to do when he saw him as a franchise quarterback. And if you don't remember me saying this, take a listen. I believe in the Packers. Jordan Love at quarterback, first-year starter, and half their offense have had have only had a 1 year or less experience. I mean, Luke Musgrave, rookie. Romeo Dobbs, 1 year player. Christian Watson, 1 year player. Jalen Reed, the rookie, no experience. So it's understandable to think that this team is not going to do that good, but I think you're going to see the true offense of Matt LaFleur because he has a quarterback that doesn't have that much experience, so he can lean on the run game and use play action to get these young pass catchers the ball and open space. And this is why I believed in Jordan Love and the Packers in the offseason. I believe they would be a wild card team. I didn't think they were going to win the division. I had the Detroit Lions winning the division. And anybody who's looking at my facial hair at that time, yeah, I had a goatee. It was months ago. Let's forget about that. But I really did believe when Jordan Love could be a competent quarterback, and I think this team would have relied on the run game, which they have. I think that this defense would elevate their play, which they have as of recent memory. And Matt LaFleur was able to call the offense that he designed for his team before Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was there. Aaron Rodgers was going to win 2 MVPs, and it kind of stalled what he wanted to do because he wanted to make a Hall of Fame quarterback happy. But there's a reason why in his second season as the head coach of the Packers, he drafted Jordan Love. It's because he needed another quarterback that would fit the system of offense that he wanted to have. And this Green Bay Packers team put up 48 points against a really good Cowboys team. Anybody say this Cowboys team wasn't good, you must not have watched what happened in the regular season. Even though the Cowboys defense was not as dominant as you see in the regular season, doesn't mean Jordan Love was anything but excellent. He was making plays. He had 3 touchdowns. I mean, the touchdown on 4th and 1, that play alone was amazing. He had to roll to the right and then fit in a tight window. Or what about the touchdown on the post route against Stephon Gilmore to number 13? That play was excellent. This is why I believe in Jordan Love. And this is why I've been hot on Jordan Love all season. In the first 7 games of the season, people wanted to count him out because he didn't have the proper statistics in the first half of the season that showed that he could be a franchise quarterback. But I didn't get a vote on him. I think he was in his first season. He was trying to figure out how to read defenses. And him and Matt LaFleur was in the lab. And the jump you seen Jordan Love make in the second half of the season is some of the best football you will ever see from a quarterback play. He was better than Aaron Rodgers played last year. He's better than Aaron Rodgers in his inaugural season. He's better than Brett Favre in their inaugural season as Packers quarterbacks. This is amazing. And now he got to go play the 49ers where they're a 10-point underdogs. If I was me, I would have bet against Jordan Love because so far in the last 11 games he's played, no one has touched him as being the best quarterback, maybe besides Lamar Jackson in the NFL. And this is why I believe in the Packers in the offseason. And this is why Matt LaFleur has a chance to be a runner-up in Coach of the Year because of what he has done. Jordan Love is that guy. He is the second best quarterback currently playing in the playoffs behind Lamar Jackson. Okay, before we wrap this podcast episode up, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Dolphins. The Dolphins are just not a good team. And let's talk about what Tua's going to be Tua's future next season. If I was the Miami Dolphins, I would give him a contract that's similar to like Daniel Jones, where it's like $43 million, $44 million, $45 million, because he's a little bit better than Daniel Jones. But also, I want to give him an extended contract. I would give him a 3-year contract because I don't think he deserves, and he hasn't shown me anything that could prove that I need to pay him $50 million a year. Now that you have your quarterback problem solved, I think you need to get more aggressive on getting rotational players on defense. Your defense was atrocious, and they got a torch. But also, there's something to be said about Mike McDaniel's play calling when it comes to big games. We have not seen him win big games. The last game that was big, you don't tell me that Cowboys game was big. That really wasn't a big game. The last game I remember him playing that was a really big game was a game last year against the Baltimore Ravens in like week 2 or week 3 where they were humming. But other than that, I don't see Mike McDaniel's coaching good football in his 2 years of being the head coach. And on another note, the team that beat them, the Kansas City Chiefs, watch out for the Chiefs. See, you don't count them out. I understand their offense have been playing all regular season, but their defense is legit. And if you give Pat Mahomes a top 3 defense, I would not count the Kansas City Chiefs out. The only team I think that is better than them, truly, will be Baltimore. The Bills and Chiefs, I think, are on the same level in the AFC. And don't forget about those Texans I talk about. They have a potential chance of running the table if C.J. Stroud could keep playing the type of football he's playing. Thank you for watching and listening to the Football Corner podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more things I do outside the YouTube channel, you can follow me on my social media pages at the Football Corner podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Thanks for watching and listening. See you next time.